You know, there's a hobby that's helping thousands of people all over the world rediscover that childlike dream that they thought was lost forever. I'm talking about flight simulation. And today, I'm going to share with you my thoughts on the top 5 benefits of this fantastic hobby. When was the last time you found yourself really, genuinely enjoying the hobby that you're in? And I mean genuinely really getting enthusiastic and involved. Not that sort of, oh yeah, this is all right, it passes the time. I mean the sort of, wow, I can't believe how cool this is, that kind of enjoyment. And this is what I've managed to find between flight simulation and genuine fun. Whether I'm flying that bush plane through those rugged mountainous terrain areas of Papua New Guinea, or practicing those landings on some of the most difficult runways around the world. Each time it's teaching me something new, something enjoyable, and the fun never stops. And then there are those special moments which remind you why you got into flight simulation in the first place. For me, recently I got myself the Spitfire and I flew it in VR. Now, I've always loved the Spitfire growing up, and my God, doing the Spitfire in virtual reality, I literally felt like I was in the cockpit. I could hear the sounds, the rumbling. It was just on a whole nother level. And here's the great thing about this fun aspect. There's no right or wrong. What's fun for some may not be fun for others, but that doesn't matter. It's what's fun for you. Some people will enjoy getting into those big airliners and doing a 8, 10, 12-hour long-haul flight. They love it. The setting up of the flight plan, the running of the weather, the ATC, everything in between. Others like those quick, challenging bush flights, small GA, circuit practice, whatever. All of these aspects are what gives this hobby so much fun and diversity, and they're all equally valid. You just get that big smile on your dial when you walk away from your simulator after a great session, and you know that you've had fun and you've enjoyed yourself. You know, as we get older, there's this misconception that our learning days are behind us. Well, I don't buy into that, not one bit. Every time I fire up this flight sim, my brain is actively engaged. If I'm setting up for a flight, I'm running the checklists, I'm looking at weather patterns, coordinating with air traffic control, whether that be online through VATSIM or offline using Beyond ATC or Say Intentions. And along the way, making all those decisions that affect every aspect of my virtual flight. The best part about this is, unlike doing an actual brain training exercise, which, and again, I haven't looked into this in any great depth, but I can only imagine they may be a little bit more boring. In this hobby, you don't even realize that you're really giving that brain a workout. Reading those navigational charts, understanding the procedures, the multitasking that requires during busy phases of your flight, problem solving when the weather dynamics is constantly changing, being in front of the aircraft, as they say. This all keeps your mind really sharp and agile. Now, I don't know about you, but I honestly do feel that this hobby has enabled me to learn a great deal and continue to learn. And just like any professional pilot will tell you, that learning is never completed. There is always something to learn. And so for us, particularly over 50, we can really hone into this hobby and tune that in and exercise that brain as regularly and often as we want. So if you like this type of content and you're not yet subscribed, please do me that massive favor of hitting that subscribe button and that notification bell. That way, you're fully informed every single time I bring out a video. All right, let's get back into it. What really gets me about flight simulation as a hobby, it's the learning journey. It never ends. It never ends. For me, it started with the build. Many weeks and months of building and tinkering, and I still do that today. But once that was built, then it became more about aviation. And it was, what does a chart mean? What is IFR, VFR? You know, it was all so foreign and new, but it's been so good to try and learn and soak that up in the best of my ability. And here's the best part. With the community, there are a whole bunch of real-world pilots who are either actively flying or recently retired. And guess what? They love to share their real-world experiences and are more than happy to pass it along. It just joins the dots. And this learning curve is really just you taking it in bite-sized pieces, I guess to a certain extent, just like you would in a real flight school. One minute you're learning just those basic startup procedures, perhaps running circuits, and before you know it, you're reading METAR reports, you're looking at navigational charts, understanding IFR, complex approaches, hold patterns, aircraft systems failures and how to handle those, changing weather conditions, the list goes on. It's very cool as well how this hobby is so well linked, I guess, to the real world. We have startups and checklists and phraseology and all of those things along the way, and flying and so on, that really does its absolute best, and I think gets there pretty closely to what the real world is actually like.
Victor Hotel Juliet Alpha Echo Boston Center. Hello, thanks for your patience. Cleared to Lawrence Municipal Airport via Raider Vector's lobby, then direct. Climb and maintain 4,000, expect 5,000, 10 minutes after departure, and squawk 4751.
This technical side, this learning side, is where this aspect somewhat crosses over with that mental cognitive function. You're constantly challenging your brain and you're constantly wanting to learn new things. It's really keeping you switched on, and in my view, so important. One of the great things about this hobby is that you can start small, start very basic. That can be a yoke on a desk with a monitor hooked up to either through an Xbox or soon to be PlayStation or a basic PC, and you are away. And before you know it, you're expanding that to a yoke and rudder pedals and buying some additional panels and so on, and then it carries on from there. But you can never have enough equipment. We always love our toys. It's just that those toys happen to get more expensive as we get older. Now for me, in flight simulation, that's exactly what happens. I still love the excitement of purchasing something online and then anxiously waiting for that delivery to arrive. You know, the notification coming through, your delivery is arriving today. You've all been there, you know what it feels like, and you know that you're going to be able to unpack that peripheral, plug it in, and get using it. I've not had force feedback in a yoke, and here it is. I couldn't wait to get it in from the time that I ordered it, and I love it. That's just an example, but I have envy all around the world as I look at other simulators, motion setups, you know, VR with much more higher headsets than my current Quest 3. There's always some equipment and some goodies that you really want to get your hands on. And whilst I guess that can be a source of frustration, it's also somewhat exciting because you always want to be getting your hands on that latest tech or those latest software or that latest aircraft, weather engines, everything like that to really improve in your flight simulation journey. But the key message is, it's your journey, it's your hobby, you're enjoying it with others, but it's what makes you happy. But I'll tell you what'll make me happy. Force feedback rudder pedals and maybe that force feedback HOTAS setup, which I haven't got yet. Watch this space. Here's the wonderful thing about flight simulation and this social connection. When I started this YouTube channel around about 2020, just really to post things around the build and show people how the build was evolving over time, I was amazed at the amount of engagement that slowly started to build. And over the years, that engagement has broadened and broadened. And it's amazing to see just how tight-knit this community is and how everyone is so willing to help everyone else out. If you're genuinely interested in getting into flight simulation, I can assure you this community is really, really good at wanting to help you, genuinely wanting to help you. I've not found anyone yet that hasn't wanted to lend a hand. But where this really gets social is when you start flying with others online. You can be a solo pilot and join a VATSIM community or a Pilot Edge community and you can fly it that way, and you will be talking to real ATC operators at the other end in a virtual network. Or you can fly offline with a bunch of people that you've met over the years via your Discord channel. You can be chatting away as you're seeing the sights along your flight with pre-planned routes and flight plans. It is great fun. Look at that. Isn't that cool?
That's just showing off, Sis. Okay.
And if I press this button, I can take over.
You probably can. I think you can. You will find an absolute plethora of YouTube channels and online communities. And I can guarantee you, if you drop a comment, 9 times out of 10, that person at the other end will respond. And if they don't, someone else in the comments will. That's what's so good about this flight simulation community. You're in a community with like-minded people who really share that passion for flight simulation. It's pretty cool to be a part of it. They, in my view, are the 5 top benefits of flight simulation, from that pure fun angle through to mental cognitive ability, learning, equipment, and the unforgettable social connections that you make along the way. This hobby has something for everyone, particularly if you're over 50. So which of these benefits really resonates with you? Is it the fun aspect, the mental side of it, or do you just love that social connection? Or maybe you're like me and you're a bit of an equipment nut and you can't help but getting that latest bit of tech. Drop a comment down below and let me know exactly what excites you about this flight simulation hobby. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to watch the video. Once again, I've had an absolute blast making it. If you did enjoy it, please do me a favor, hit that like button. It would do wonders for me, and the algorithm apparently should like it. Also, if you are not part of the 87% of you that are not yet subscribed, do me a favor, hit the subscribe button and click that notification bell. That way, every time a video comes out, you're going to be fully informed. Thanks again, everyone, and I look forward to catching up with you on the next one.